Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Millie, and on this channel I talk about knitting and crochet. I also talk about yarn, either yarn that I have or yarn that I have bought. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit of my what I have in my stash. I also share the projects that I'm working on, and I also share projects that I have finished or projects that I'm planning to work on. So today I have a few finished objects and I have a work in progress, and so that's what we are going to be talking about today. So my throat is dry today. I don't know if it's the air because it's been really hot and today it's a little bit cold. I think it's 88 degrees and we've been having triple digits the last few weeks, so maybe something in the air. It's my throat is dry, and I know that my son has a cold, so just bear with me today. So the first object that I'm gonna show you is my finished blanket. So in my previous video, this was the blanket that I was going to cast on, and I don't know if you can see, but I'm gonna tell you how big it is. So it measures 38 by 35 inches, and I used this yarn which was on clearance at Hobby Lobby. It's called Bernat Casa. This yarn has 4 textures. So if you look at the blanket, you can see there's a section that's very fluffy, and there's a section that is, I think this is called I don't remember the name of this yarn, but it's, you can find it, this little bitty here. I've seen something that looks like this at Joann's, I think. And this looks like Bernat blanket. So if you've ever used Bernat blanket, it feels like it. I think it is. And then there is this 4th texture that's a velvet, or it feels like a velvet. So this, I used 3 balls of yarn on this, so it's about 580 yards. It's a jumbo weight yarn, so it's a number 6, and the recommended needles are US 11, which is 8 millimeters knitting needles. I think it's the same for crochet. It's US 11 or 8 millimeters for the crochet hook. Initially, when I was planning to do this blanket, I was gonna crochet, and so I started crocheting it, and I didn't like the way the yarn felt, and it wasn't smooth, and so I decided to try knitting, and knitting worked perfectly. So I cast on, let me look at my notes, I cast on 80 stitches. So this is a mostly discontinued yarn, but you can find it in some places online, and I have left that information in my previous video where I talked more about the yarn. But if you go to Ravelry, I just went to Ravelry and I clicked on the yarn, and it shows that it's not being sold anywhere in the US. But I know that I went online and I found it on Yarnspirations, but I don't know if they are discontinuing the yarn or something like that. But they didn't have many colors. This color is called, let me look at my notes. It's a turquoise. And when I planned to make this blanket initially, I was gonna mix this cream with this. But I have 2 of these and I had 3 of these. And so I decided to just keep it one color because I'm kind of starched bursting because I have a lot of yarn in my stash and I'm trying to get rid of some of it. And I also wanted a quick project, and these seemed to fit the bill. So it knitted up really fast. I finished it within a week, and that's just knitting in the evening after work and during my lunch hour. So for the knitting needles, I used Adi Turbo Rockets, which are some of my favorite knitting needles. So I use these a lot. I like the sharp tips, and I like the cord, which is really flexible, and you can find these on Amazon. I don't remember, I think they cost anywhere from $17 to $20. So I like them. They're pretty smooth, and I was able to knit really fast with them. And so this is my go-to knitting needles, the Adi Turbo Rockets. So this is one of my finished projects, and I like it and my daughter likes it. But let's talk a little bit about this yarn. So like I said before, this yarn has, this yarn has 4 textures. So it has this fluffy part, which I love, and then it has these, feels like Hometown, which is sold in Joann's. I don't remember who it's by, but I think that's the name of the yarn, is Hometown. That was okay. And then the blanket part was okay, but there's a velvet section, so I didn't like the velvet section. So when I was knitting the blanket, it was okay. I finished it, it looked okay. And then when I put it in the washer, look at all those little bitty yarns that are showing. So I don't know why it did this, but I'm not gonna be knitting with velvet unless I know why this is happening. It feels nice and soft, but I don't like that. I don't like the way all these little bitty threads seem to be falling out, and it's only happening in the velvet section. So if anyone knows why, or if anyone knows what I did wrong, please leave a comment down below and let me know, because I have other 3 cakes of tiny, not really tiny, I have 3 cakes of velvet yarn that I got from Lion Brand when I bought their Christmas in July mystery bag. So, and I was looking forward to using those because they're a silver color and they're very pretty and neutral and soft. But if this is how velvet knits or turns out after you wash it, then I'm rethinking that. So other than that, I like the blanket, and I probably I have three more balls of yarn left. So I have 2 of these left and a black, and I'm gonna make another blanket with them, but I'm thinking I'm gonna cut out the velvet part because that is really disappointing. So that is the first finished object. And if you've watched my videos before, you know that I have another colorful blanket that's always sitting at the back of my chair over here. So my sister wanted to see this blanket because she's like, it's only hanging back there, but we don't even know what it looks like. And so I'm gonna show you and tell you a little bit about it. I didn't use any pattern. I just loved the yarn, and this year I've been challenging myself to learn new crochet stitches because I do a lot of knitting, but when it comes to crochet, I just do the single crochet and the double crochet. I don't go out of my comfort zone. So this year I decided to try a few more, like try and learn new crochet stitches. And this is one of the crochet stitches that I wanted to learn, and it's the shell stitch. It's the 5 it's a 5 stitch. I think there are so many variations of the shell stitch, but this has five single crochets. And so this, I don't have a pattern for this, but I crocheted these to use it's a lap blanket. Like if you're sitting on the sofa for an adult, then you can cover yourself comfortably. And so I kept measuring as I sat down and crocheted, and when I thought it was enough, then I stopped there. So the measurements for these are 30 by 65, which is a weird measurement, but since I was just making it for myself, it didn't really matter. I just crocheted until I was happy with the length and the width. So I don't even remember, I don't think I took notes to say how many I chained. Oh, well, apparently I did, which is, it's pretty good. Okay, so I chained 114. That's on my Ravelry notes, so that's good. And this is it's a 6 stitch plus 1. That's what you chain 6 plus 1. So so there's a story to this blanket. So what happened was, I found this yarn at Walmart and I liked it. It's Mandala Ombre, and this colorway, it's called Happy. Like, I love these colors, and so I decided to use this yarn. It feels really soft, which is, it's actually really soft. It's a number 4. So when I bought the yarn and I decided I was gonna do this shell stitch, I started and I realized really quickly that shell stitch takes a lot of yarn. And so I had not planned to buy a ton of yarn. I think initially I had bought 4, and I might have gone back and bought a 5th one, but I wasn't keeping track because I was just making this for myself. I wasn't gonna talk about it or anything like that. But then if you look in this yarn, there's like a white going all the way through. And so I decided, since I wasn't gonna go buy more yarn, which is at Walmart, this is $5.97. And so I already had 4, I think, or 5, I'm not sure. I decided to stripe it with white, and I just went back to my starch and found white and added it in the middle. Sometimes I make up things as I go, so I wasn't sure how this was gonna add, so I striped it with white in the middle, and then I decided that since I had started this side with a solid mandala, I decided to finish it off with a mandala. And then for the border, I did a linen stitch, and I learned how to do this stitch by watching a video by TL Yarn Crafts. It's Tony. She has a YouTube video, and she's a designer, and she has really nice videos. If you haven't checked her out, go look at her channel. She has really cool designs, and she has really some nice things that she teaches there. So she was teaching, the video that I was looking at was 4 borders that you can use to finish your crochet projects. And so this was one of the borders, which is a linen stitch, and then this bubble stitch border was another one by itself, but I decided to combine them, and it was part of wanting to combine the border and also learning new stitches. So I did all that. So in this blanket I learned 3 new stitches. So I learned the shell stitch, the linen stitch, and the bobble stitch border. So I feel like that was a pretty good deal. And let me see, so this was shell stitch, and let me see what crochet hook I used. So I used a 5.5 millimeters, and I think that is what is recommended on the label. So this, let me tell you a little bit about the yarn. The yarn is worsted weight, so it's a 4. You can use 7 needles, US size 7 or 4.5 millimeters. And I think these are an eye hook of 5.5. So I used 5.5 millimeters. And it's 100% acrylic. It's machine washable and dryable. And I've washed this and dried it, so I know that it will stand the test of time. And then it's 344 yards, 5.3 ounces or 150 grams for the weight. And I love these colors, and what a coincidence. The name of the yarn is called Happy. This blanket is actually makes me happy. That's why I leave it behind my chair when I'm recording, because it adds a lot of color and it's bright and it's pretty, and I feel like I did a good job on it, especially since I was learning a new stitch and I ended up learning 3 stitches in one. So this, you can find this at Walmart for $5.97, or you can find it online, or you can find it at Joann's, and they have different colors, but I think it goes for more at Joann's, but you can always use a coupon. So that's my happy blanket. That's what I call it, and I love it. And it, when I'm sitting out on my sofa, it covers me from, it's long enough and it's warm enough, but it's not heavy. Unfortunately, I'm not sure exactly how much yarn I used. I could probably weigh the blanket and do the calculations, but I think that would be too much work. So that's all I have on this blanket, and I love it. It's one of my proud projects for the year. Oh, and I forgot to say that the white in here is this yarn, which is Red Heart Baby Soft. It's a number 4 as well, so it matches this really well, and it's got the same 5.5 millimeters. It's machine washable and dryable, 100% acrylic, and this is also one of my favorite regular yarns. It's soft and makes really pretty baby projects. So that's the 2 yarns that I used. And then I'm gonna show you what I am working on. I don't think I left out anything on that blanket. So let's go on to my current work in progress. So I am currently working on another romper, and I don't want to take out this yarn from my knitting bag because it's a mess, but I'm working on a tiny baby romper, and it's white. So the pattern that I'm using is a free pattern online, and sometimes I like trying out a free pattern, and if I like the way it's written, then I'll go back and buy the PDF, because in most cases the free pattern will only have one size, but the PDF, if you buy the pattern, if it's available for purchase, if you buy the pattern, it's gonna have multiple sizes. But like I said, maybe I mentioned before, maybe in a previous video, I have been knitting for a long time. I can't even remember. I think I learned to knit when I was in elementary school, and I used to just copy what my mom was doing, because my mom was always knitting something, and I'm from that school where we learned how to knit cardigans in pieces. We never knitted one piece unless it was a baby sweater. So you knitted the back, and then you knitted the front, and then you knitted the sleeves, and then you joined them, and then you knitted the neck, the neckline. So that's how I learned to knit a long time ago. So I can pretty much I never really follow a pattern to a T. I always change things here and there. So what I normally do is, once I like a pattern or a design, if it's available as a free pattern, I'll look at it and try to knit it, and then if I like it, I'll go and buy, so that I can have the whole range of the different sizes. And that is what I did with this romper. Let me see the page. So it's called the Pickles romper. I'm gonna leave the information in the description below. And I have knitted rompers from this designer before, and it's pretty straightforward and simple, and it's knitted in 2 pieces, and then you join the 2 pieces. The only thing that I didn't like about the Pickles romper is it's designed for fingering weight, and I wasn't looking to use fingering weight and take a whole month knitting something. So I prefer to knit, my favorite weight is number 4. That's the worsted weight, is what I prefer to knit with, because I can knit really fast and I can finish projects really quickly. But if I am knitting a scarf or a shawl or maybe socks, then I'm okay using fingering weight. So this romper is designed for fingering weight, and I wanted to knit it in worsted weight. And so what I did was I took the measurements and I'm trying to size them up for a number 4 weight. And so I think I'm getting there, but I won't know until I finish the whole project and put it together. But I think I think it's turning out well. So I have the let me see if I can show you the pictures. So I'm not sure if the picture is gonna show up properly on there, but I'll leave a link. But that's what it's gonna look like. This is the free version. So I found it on her blog, and I just printed it so that I can look at it and see what I can change here and there using a different weight and a different gauge, because obviously my gauge is not going to be the same as what is on the actual pattern, because I'm using a worsted weight and she's using a fingering weight. So anyway, so the romper is up here is made with seed stitch, and then you increase in the middle by make one right and make one left, and then you're going to divide for the legs up down here. So that's where I'm at. I finished one piece and I'm working on the second piece right here. So I'm almost done with the second piece. And so for this I used let me see what I'm using. Okay, so I am making mine for like 0 to 3 months, and I'm using a 4-weight yarn, and that's what I'm using, my favorite yarn. So it's a soft baby steps by Red Heart, and it's white, and the knitting needles recommended here US 8, but like I said before, I don't always follow the recommended knitting needles. It depends on the gauge and what else, and maybe probably if I can find the right knitting needles, because I have too many works in progress. So I'm using my signature knitting needles, which are a US 7, which is equivalent to 4.5 millimeters, and I think this is a 32 cord, and so that's what I'm using. I haven't measured the gauge, and I'm not gonna I don't have the details of how many. I have notes somewhere for how many I cast on and all that, but since I'm kind of using that design to, I'm not using it completely. I'm just using it as a base for what I'm working on. If you, I can't remember exactly how many I cast on, but if you're interested in this romper, I'm gonna leave a link down below, and you can definitely go and check it out. It's also available for sale on Ravelry, and I probably will go and buy. It's available for about $8. But there's like multiple sizes: 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, and 6 to 9 months. So, and it seems to be popular. There's 113 projects that people have made, and it's in English and Spanish, and I think when I went to her website there was something saying Portuguese, but I just did the English version. So that's about what I'm working on right now and what I have finished. And I'm thinking as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to crochet some baby hats and maybe make some socks. Maybe make some socks with, I have a ton of yarn, so I'll make some socks to go with this. And I think that's what I'm going to be going on to next. So that's a lot of talking for today, and I hope you have enjoyed my finished objects, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you liked it, just remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, consider subscribing. And until next time, wishing you a very, very good day, and I hope you enjoy your knitting, your crocheting, or your yarn shopping. So until next time, have a good day.